Hi y'all, my name is Christopher D.O. and we're going to talk about tools from time to time. Hopefully each week I can review a tool that I use so you can make a decision on the right tool that you want in your toolbox. Today we're going to talk about oscillating cutting tool. Another term for that is the multi-tool that you'll hear people talk about. There are so many different brands of these, and they have changed over time. The first one that really hit the market by storm was the Rockwell Sonocrafter. It was very expensive. It was about $180 for the multi-tool. And it was really the only one around. But the price was so high because it just hit the market. It was really hard to buy. Then cheaper models started coming out. As a matter of fact, the first one that I bought was called a shop tool that you would get at Menards, and it cost me $40. And it didn't take long for that $40 to just drain right out of that tool. It didn't have a strong motor. The blade mechanism, changing the blades, was kind of difficult because it had a wrench with an arbor, kind of like your circular saws do. So it was very cumbersome, but the power just was not there. I think it had an 1.5 amp motor. But right after that went out, I said, well, I'm going to step up a step. So I went out and I found one for $50. And same thing happened. Just the motor was just not power enough to do my cuts. So I went out, do another step up, and I found just by accident, really, I found a Black & Decker. And I'm not a huge fan of Black & Decker, but this one tool has lasted me 6 years. And the one thing that I like about the tool was, remember I talked about taking off the blades with an Allen wrench or a hex wrench or something like that. The Black & Decker had the first spring-loaded quick change mechanism for the blades. So you can take your blade, push the spring in, put your blade right on there, release, you're ready to go. When you need another blade, you work it out, switch blades, take that blade, pop it in, you're ready to go. That was probably the one feature that I looked at the most right off the bat. But I also got lucky that the Black & Decker BD200 also had a 2 amp motor. So it was comparable, the motor was comparable to the Sonocrafter, except it was half the price. Now, what do you use a multi-tool for? Well, the original reason I got a multi-tool was I installed a lot of hardwood floors and a lot of laminate floors and things like that. And instead of having to take off all the casings around doors and cutting those on my chop saw, I was able to take a multi-tool with a wood cutting blade and undercut all of the jambs of a door. I can just take a piece of material, take that blade, put that blade on top of the thickness of the material, and cut out any of the door jamb that I wanted that floor to fit under. But there are so many other uses for a multi-tool. Probably the biggest use that I use them for is when I'm doing rewiring work and I have drywall and I have to put in a new outlet box and I'm doing some remodel work and it's not new construction. I can take the pattern of the outlet box, mark it with a pencil, and then take that multi-tool and make precise cuts so I can take that box and put it in the hole and I'm ready to go. Multi-tools do all types of stuff. Like if you have boards running long and you want to make them straight, you draw your straight line, and you can use this as a precision tool and just kind of carve away or make your nice even cut along whatever scribe line that you decide to go against. Now, the other thing that you have to think about when you get a multi-tool is, first you want a powerful motor. 2-amp motor is great. Second, you want something that you can change the blades without using a tool. How annoying is that? Because most of the time, everybody loses the tool. So anyway, a quick change is another thing. Get one that's has some weight to it, you know. I hate tools that absolutely weigh nothing. To me, heavy means it's going to last a while. I mean, I don't think that's true, but I like heavy, meaty tools that just say something about power. That's what I like. This Black & Decker, like I said, has lasted me 6 years. It has lasted so long, and it's cost half as much as Sonocrafter. Now, Sonocrafter makes a great tool. Their quick release for their blades isn't really a quick release. It has a lever on the top, and you turn it like a wrench, and it loosens the arbor, and then you stick. You don't have to use a tool, but because the tool's actually built onto the handle, but that's just annoying. So anyway, I like the quick change. Now, the other thing, like I said, that you want to look at is there are tons of blades available for multi-tool. You want to make sure that you get the blades for the right material that you're using. The blades that I probably use the most, or you would imagine it would be a wood cutting blade, but I don't. I usually use these bimetal blades with the really fine teeth. These blades are made by a company named Storm. They have a universal blade attachment, so they attach to any multi-tool that's out there on the market. But I use these blades more because I like the fine cutting. I use these with drywall all the time. These cut nails, they cut bolts and screws and things like that when you're in the way, because these are made for cutting metal. One of the other things is, like, if I'm replacing a toilet and I just can't get those toilet bolts out of the floor because they're all rusted and disgusting, I use this metal blade with my multi-tool, and I cut that bolt right off and go on and do my work quickly. Alright, and then you got your wood cutting blades. They have the longer teeth, the serrated teeth. You can get cross-cut, you can get ripping blades for them. Another thing is you can get precision blades. They're usually a little narrow, and they have fine teeth for doing finer cuts in any kind of woodworking that you do. You can also get abrasive type of blades like this. This is a diamond dusted blade that's used for cutting grout out of tile. I don't use it too much. Maybe it's because I don't trust my hand when I'm next to somebody's ceramic tile, and I just don't want it to skip and scratch their tile. I usually use my hand tools to scrape out the grout. But it's an abrasive tool. You can do cement board with it, all types of backer boards. But one thing that you want to look at is, like I said, get the universal blades. Because the universal blades, you don't have to guess what brand of blade is going to fit your tool. These will fit your tool. Another type of blade attachment is just a simple scraper. You can use these to get glues and things off of floors, walls, woodwork. Doesn't really matter. I wouldn't recommend using it on glass because it'll end up breaking the glass. Learn from a mistake. But the neat thing that I do with these two is I'll actually hone the edge of this and actually turn it into a chisel. And so I can chisel out any timber framing that I'm doing when I kerf out for notches for putting timbers together, and I need to clean those. I'll just use that instead of a hand chisel, which I kind of like to use every once in a while just because I like to be nostalgic. But you can use them to clean out any types of joinery that you're doing as well. So anyway, the multi-tool is probably the best tool to have in your toolbox. I use this Black & Decker probably on an average of maybe 2-3 times a week in the work that I do, because I'll find a use for it. Whether I'm cutting undercutting jambs for floors or doing drywall cutting. It's a great tool. This one, like I said, is a Black & Decker, and it's the only Black & Decker tool that I own. But it's proved itself over the years. So everybody, all tool companies make multi-tools. Black & Decker actually owns Porter Cable. They actually Stanley. They own Stanley, and they also own Porter Cable, DeWalt. So really, those tools are all the same. They're just a different color. But look for a 2-amp motor, something that oscillates between the 10,000 and 20,000 oscillations per minute, and something with a quick release. I like the corded versions of the tools better, but they do make the 20-volt battery type nowadays. You can try those out. I don't particularly like battery powered for my cutting tools, but it's a great tool to have in your toolbox. And I hope this video helped you. If it does, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll review another tool next week. Have a great week. Thanks for coming.